She was in, I think, the 5th grade, approximately, when we began to notice that she was missing hair. We recognized there was a problem, we just didn't know what the problem was.
My wife found a little pile of hair in her room, and it was a real shock for us to realize that that was what was going on, and of course at the same time a lot of confusion on our part. Disbelief, the idea that someone would sit and pull hair or pick or groom themselves to a point of damaging was hard for me to grasp.
We started finding wads of hair on the floor next to her bed in the morning. It was shocking, it was alarming, it was disappointing, it was frightening, made me angry because she was doing things I specifically said, don't do that. And I want to control my daughter's behavior. I want her to be a good child and do the things that I wanted to do. And then it grew to alarm because I realized she couldn't stop. It hurt. It hurt to see my beautiful daughter, who was so smart, so pretty, so special, so witty, damaging herself. For years, we didn't see our daughter without a bandana on or a hat. You don't want to pity your children. You want to feel like your children are strong and can do anything they set their mind to. And then you look at that and you see that and you go, that's going to hold my kid back. That's going to keep her from being successful someday. And so I think that made us quite fearful.
Like most dads thought, you know, well, this is something that needs to be fixed, so I'll fix it. And being a physician, I thought, well, this is something that needs fixed, I'll fix it. And being a surgeon is even worse, because I'm used to fixing things.
I'm probably not the only guy who's ever done this. I said, you know, hey, simple enough. We'll put the mittens on at night and a hat, and we'll solve this problem in the next couple of weeks. We'll fix the habit.
But what I found out was that there wasn't a real simple answer to the problem. There wasn't a simple fix. There wasn't a simple medication you take and it goes away right away. Over a period of time, it became increasingly frustrating. My wife was feeling guilty in some ways that maybe she had caused this by, you know, saying this or doing that. And I didn't feel like I was the cause of it, but I felt frustrated that I couldn't help her. And what I saw was my daughter suffering. And every dad that has a heart for his kids does not want to see them suffer, and neither do moms.
Over time of really not involving myself, it became harder and harder for me to communicate about it because I wasn't part of it. And so it was, I think, unnatural for me, and it was unnatural for her to talk about it.
My wife, more than me, quite honestly, making phone calls, calling doctors, calling psychiatrists, calling psychologists, and nobody understood any of this stuff. And thank God for the internet. She put the words in and it came up, and there happened to be a conference for TLC. She called TLC and she said, you know, this is what my daughter has. It was just like a huge revelation. We'd never heard of it before. She was able to enroll at the last minute, and they showed up and they met all these people and saw all these young ladies, beautiful young girls and adults and girls and boys with the same thing that our daughter had. It was scary, but it also was like this huge weight being lifted off our shoulder because we recognized at that moment that it was real. It was a huge relief to know that, though it wasn't a cure, it was a relief in knowing that we weren't alone.
The basis of my coming to terms with it was education, and I think TLC did more for that than any other possible source. And the most important thing I learned about it is that the person that is pulling their hair lives in constant shame. And the last thing I wanted to do was to make my daughter feel more shame by putting pressure on her. And so I think for me, one of the things that I learned is that I needed to be very, very understanding and not nag about pulling the hair. Shame is, I think, the worst result of this. It's not the hair loss. It's the shame that people bear and how it colors their whole outlook on life and their whole self-image. And I think that's the worst part of this problem.
You can't expect them to take an adult approach to this until they're adults. And you got to be patient and let them do their thing. We actually went through a period of time with our daughter where She did nothing. She thought it was okay. I'm not saying she wanted it, but she wasn't willing to do anything about it. The most helpful thing for me as a dad, I think, is just an understanding. But if you don't get involved and learn about it, you'll only have misconception about what you're dealing with. And I promise you, because I did it, you'll make some bad decisions or stand on ground you got no business standing on because you just don't understand.
All dads are going to struggle with this. When a dad can't find a solution and can't fix it, it becomes very frustrating. And the tendency is, at least the possibility is, to withdraw and not be as involved in the daughter's life, and maybe not even as involved in the family's life. But I would encourage people, particularly dads, that are facing this with a daughter or a son, that you look past the disorder and look to the future, because there is hope for the future that this will become treatable and become curable. It certainly can become controllable with work on the part of the person that has a difficulty and the family. And, you know, don't give up.
We as parents, as fathers, would do anything to help or save our kids. And, you know, I would just say, make that step. Skip your vacation or your, you know, buying new wheels for your truck or whatever it is you're going to do, and send your child and attend with your child one of these retreats or a workshop, or get them down for the wig. It probably will be a $500 bill or a $1,000 bill, and it'll be worth every dime of it. Just the freedom that will build for them. Let them guide their own path to solving this problem. We love to fix stuff. That's what we do best. This is not one you're going to get to fix. It's your child's issue to fix. And we need to back off, be patient, supportive, and be there when they need us, and get out of their way when they want to do it on their own.
What I can do is just take her like she is, love her for what she is, not love her for what I wish she was or how I wish she was, but accept her like she is.
There's been a lot of difficult periods from the time of manifestation to where we are today. And today she has a beautiful full head of hair. I have a wonderful relationship with my daughter today.